All right, let's dive in. We're looking at Blessed Among Women by Arnold Michael today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I have to say, the excerpts you sent over,
Okay.
they're pretty wild. Forbidden romance,
Uh-huh.
prophecies,
Hmm.
even
Oh.
secret knowledge hidden in a well.
Hmm. I'm intrigued.
So let's unpack this, shall we?
Sounds good. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, so right off the bat, we meet Anna. She's a vessel virgin in the Temple of Jerusalem.
Right.
And she falls for Nakib Shah, a Persian magi. I mean, talk about a forbidden romance.
Yeah. The temple in Jerusalem was a very structured social environment, and Vestal virgins played a crucial role.
Okay.
They guarded the sacred knowledge passed down, generation after generation.
Right.
So for Anna to break away from that, pursue this relationship, it would have been huge.
Huge is an understatement.
Yeah.
And then there's Nakib Shah, who converts to Judaism, takes the name Joachim.
Yeah, that adds a whole other layer, doesn't it?
It does. It's like you see these clashing cultures, and the temple is right there in the background.
Absolutely. And don't forget the Roman rule. That's always looming, adding this political dimension.
Oh, totally. This idea of a messiah challenging the powers that be, that must have been pretty intense at the time.
Oh, definitely. A very potent concept.
Which makes me think about the author's own perspective.
Okay.
Because he brings up this ruddy messiah.
Ruddy.
Yeah, like having a reddish complexion. You don't really see that in the traditional biblical accounts.
No, you don't. That's interesting. I wonder if it ties into,
What do you think?
well, the whole emphasis on light and divinity that runs through the book, maybe. Like this Messiah embodies a certain vitality.
Oh, I see. Definitely makes this messiah stand out.
It does.
And speaking of standing out, there's Zael.
Oh, yeah. Zale.
She's almost like an antagonist to Mary. Full of skepticism, jealousy.
Right. Zale represents, I think, that more worldly perspective.
Okay.
Someone who's like, wait, are these prophecies about Mary and the Messiah actually true?
Yeah, she injects some real conflict into this story.
Oh, definitely. Keeps things grounded,
Grounded, yeah. So we have cultural tensions, political intrigue, and then Mary enters the scene. And she's destined for greatness, according to the text. But the author really focuses on her emotions.
Right, her feelings.
Yeah, like her struggle with resentment, anger, especially towards Zael.
It's interesting because by showing Mary's flaws, human flaws,
Yeah.
the author actually makes her more relatable, I think.
That's true. She's not just this perfect icon.
Right. She's a real person dealing with real complex emotions.
There's this one scene, I don't know if you remember it,
Yeah.
but Mary's trembling with rage. She can't confess her anger to Elizabeth. It felt so real,
Oh, I remember that. It's powerful.
It is.
I think that scene really speaks to the whole idea of how emotions affect our spiritual journey.
Like that advice Elizabeth gives. Emotions must be overcome through exposure.
Exactly. That's a major theme throughout the book. It stuck with me too.
Yeah, maybe acknowledging those negative feelings, even the tough ones, is part of growing spiritually.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And the author introduces this idea of holy breath, too.
Holy breath.
It's
Yes.
like this pervasive love of God. It's life-giving, connects us all.
Beautiful concept.
And he links holy breath to vibration.
Whoa, that's fascinating.
Like this love doesn't just affect our souls.
Right.
It impacts us physically, emotionally.
So we're not just separate beings, but part of a larger interconnected
Web.
yeah.
Yeah.
All vibrating with this divine energy.
And that ties into the metaphor of the string of beads, right?
Yes. Each bead is a person, an event, all connected by this divine plan.
It's a powerful image. Makes you think about how our choices, even small ones, can ripple out and touch other people's lives.
It's like a chain reaction almost.
Yeah, it does make you wonder about free will versus destiny.
Yeah, for sure. Big questions.
Big questions. But let's move on to Jesus's birth. The author presents these familiar stories in such a unique way.
Like with layers of symbolism and meaning.
Exactly. For example, the emphasis on Bethlehem being the city of David, or the birth happening in a stable.
Those details aren't just historical facts, are they?
No, there's a deeper meaning there.
Definitely.
And then we have the shepherds announcing the Messiah's arrival.
Oh, right.
The contrast between their humility and the power of the Roman Empire. It's striking.
Yeah, it really highlights that clash between the spiritual and the worldly, doesn't it?
It does. And don't forget Herod. His jealousy adds this element of danger.
True. Like the birth of the Messiah wasn't all sunshine and roses. It was a threat to the established order.
Right. And in the midst of all this, we have Zacharias defying the authorities, prophesying about John.
John the Baptist.
Yes, John the Baptist. He's going to be Jesus' harbinger. It sets the stage for everything that's to come.
It does. The author really sees John and Jesus as playing these crucial roles in preparing humanity.
Okay, so John is baptizing people in the Jordan River, preaching about the coming Messiah. What's Jesus doing at this point?
Oh, well, Jesus is on his own path, right?
Okay.
Like seeking knowledge, wisdom from different teachers.
Okay.
And the author really emphasizes this idea of having a perfected physical body.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's essential for a deep spiritual experience.
So the physical and the spiritual are intertwined.
Totally.
It's like he's preparing for his own ministry,
Mm-hmm.
honing his body and mind to become this conduit for
For divine power, powerful imagery. And when he comes out of the wilderness,
what happened.
he's ready to challenge everything and everyone who's strayed from the truth.
And that leads us to his teachings in the temple. He doesn't hold back, does he?
No, not at all. He calls out the hypocrisy of the priests, their focus on wealth, power.
Instead of genuine spirituality.
Exactly. And the author contrasts that with Jesus's message about the true altar of the heart.
That resonates even today, doesn't it? True spirituality is about inner transformation.
It's a powerful message.
It is. Speaking of powerful messages, what about the allegory of the caged lion?
Oh, the caged lion. Yeah, that's a good one. What do you think it represents?
I'm not sure. I was hoping you could.
Well, I think it represents chasing after fleeting desires. Like we're trapped in this cage of our own making, always wanting more.
Always seeking, never finding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the key to breaking free, according to the author,
What's the key?
overcoming judgment of others. It's like a sign of real spiritual growth.
Interesting. So it's not about denying our desires, but transforming them.
Yeah.
Shifting our focus.
Yes. Recognizing our true nature, aligning our actions with a higher purpose.
Okay, things are definitely heating up at this point in the story.
Yeah, they are.
Jesus is gaining followers, challenging the authorities, his message is spreading.
But then
But then,
Ananias enters the picture, and his plot to discredit Jesus.
Ananias represents those forces trying to hold on to their power, right?
Absolutely. He wants to silence Jesus because Jesus threatens his authority.
Wow. And it's Zale who warns Mary about the danger.
Zale. It's a turning point for her, I think. Shows how much she's grown.
Yeah, she was past her jealousy, sees the bigger picture.
Exactly. And her warning sets the stage for the most dramatic event, Jesus' arrest and crucifixion.
Okay, this is where the author's interpretation of Jesus' death and resurrection gets really interesting.
It does. Tell me what stood out to you.
Well, he describes this darkness covering the earth, the earthquake, and he sees it as a release of holy light.
Wow. Powerful.
It's like even in death, there's this transformative power.
A light that breaks through the darkness.
Yeah, and it ties back to holy breath.
Holy breath. That life-giving force that goes beyond physical limits.
The author really emphasizes that death isn't the end. It's a transition.
To something greater. And it's Mary who carries on his legacy.
She shares his teachings, guides his followers.
She becomes this incredible source of strength and wisdom.
And that brings us to that final scene with Mary on the rooftop.
Oh, yeah. The apostles are struggling with life's inequalities.
Yeah, why do bad things happen to good people? That kind of thing.
Right, and Mary offers a really profound perspective on it all.
She talks about multiple lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
Each one a chance to learn and grow.
It's a different way of thinking about justice, isn't it?
It is. It's not about punishment or reward in this one life.
It's about the soul's journey unfolding over time.
So we're not just fixed beings. We're evolving, learning from mistakes, hopefully becoming more compassionate.
Becoming more like our best selves.
Exactly. It's a message of hope, of perseverance.
Yeah.
Even when the journey's tough, there's a purpose to it all.
I love that. And her final message.
About speaking to each other's God selves.
Yes, it's like a reminder
Of what?
that we all have this divine spark within us. And recognizing that in ourselves and others, that's how we create a better world.
It's a beautiful message.
Yeah.
And so relevant today.
Isn't it?
Well, we've covered a lot of ground, from Anna and Nikib Shah's romance to Jesus' death and resurrection.
This book is packed with symbolism, allegory, themes that make you think.
It's those subtle details that really add depth.
Yeah.
You know? Like calling the Messiah ruddy.
Or the symbolism of the stable. The author's inviting us to look deeper.
It's like peeling back layers, discovering new meaning each time.
And that process of discovery, that's what makes this so rewarding. It's not passive reading, it's about actively engaging with the text.
Questioning our assumptions,
Yeah,
coming to our own understanding.
exactly. And that's how the author's message truly resonates. It touches our hearts, inspires us to live more meaningful lives.
Before we wrap up this part, there are a couple things I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
First, the sycamore grove. It appears a lot, and it seems significant.
The Sycamore Grove, right. It's where Oziel teaches Mary, Joseph, John, and Jesus, preparing them for their roles.
Yeah, and the 12 trees. That really stood out to me. Could they be the 12 apostles? Or even, the zodiac?
That's an interesting thought. The number 12 does have a lot of symbolic weight.
It does, doesn't it?
It makes you think about the connection between the natural world and the spiritual.
Right. And the other thing is the well. The one Mary and Elizabeth used to retrieve the sacred cloths.
Ah, the well. A symbol of hidden knowledge. Wisdom passed down over time.
And the cloths themselves represent different parts of Mary's identity, don't they?
They do. The scarlet for Abraham, the blue for the tribe of Judah, the multicolored one for the house of David. It's like a tapestry of her heritage, her destiny.
Wow, it's like she's being clothed for the role she's meant to play.
Beautifully put. And through these symbols, the author's inviting us to engage more deeply.
To see beyond the surface
Yeah.
and find those hidden meanings.
It's not just a story, it's an invitation to explore, to question, to discover our own understanding of the truth.
And that's what makes it so powerful. It really makes you think about good and evil.
It does.
And how even in those dark moments,
Yeah.
there's potential for
Transformation.
transformation, redemption.
That's one of the things I took away from this book. Even with suffering, injustice,
Right.
there's this higher truth at work, this divine plan.
And it plays out over multiple lifetimes even.
Exactly. It's a big picture kind of thing.
But it's not just about enduring the tough stuff.
No.
It's about actively
Engaging.
with spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
Mary's a perfect example, right? She starts out wrestling with resentment, and then
She becomes the source of wisdom. It's a journey.
it really is. And it's not just Mary who changes.
Right.
Zale, who starts out, almost as an antagonist.
She transforms too.
She does. Her jealousy and skepticism, they melt away. And she ends up
Understanding.
understanding and compassionate. It's like she finally gets it.
Yeah.
There's something bigger than her own personal stuff.
It makes you wonder if we all have that capacity for change.
If we're willing to be open to it,
Mm.
that ties back into how the author portrays the religious establishment.
The priests.
Yeah. They're so focused on ritual, on power. It's like their spirituality is stagnant,
Stuck.
stuck. Whereas Jesus, he's all about love, compassion.
Inner transformation.
Exactly. He challenges that rigid system.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's about connecting with the divine directly.
From the heart.
Yes. And that message is still so relevant, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's okay to question authority, think for ourselves.
Seek truth beyond just what we're told.
But that can be tough.
Oh, it can definitely lead to conflict.
What happened to Jesus?
That's right. Speaking truth to power often comes at a price.
But even in death, his message lives on through his followers.
They carry the torch. They're trying to build that world of love and compassion he talked about.
And Mary embodies that legacy.
She does. That scene on the rooftop with the apostles.
Yeah.
She gives them such a deep way of looking at things.
She talks about how we live multiple lives, each one a chance to learn.
Like, it reframes the whole idea of karma.
It does. It's not about getting what we deserve in this one life.
Right. It's
Yeah.
about this ongoing journey of the soul.
So it's a much bigger, more complex view of justice.
Exactly.
So we're not just stuck as we are. We're always evolving, learning, hopefully becoming better.
Becoming more compassionate.
Yeah. It's a message of hope. Even when things are hard, there's meaning in it all.
It's a beautiful thought.
Okay, we've covered a lot. From Anna and Akib Shah's romance to Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, this book is full
That
of
symbolism.
allegory.
Big questions.
It really makes you think. And it's the small details, the ruddy Messiah, the stable.
They add layers of meaning. The author wants us to dig deeper.
It's like every time you reread it.
To find something new.
Exactly. It's that process of discovery. That's what's so exciting. It's not passive. It's about really engaging with the ideas.
And that's how we connect with the author's message on a deeper level. It's how it touches us, inspires us.
I feel like with Blessed Among Women, you could read it a dozen times and still find new things.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much there to unpack. The author really went deep with the characters and themes.
It's more than just
Okay.
retelling the story, isn't it?
It is. It's like he's reimagining it. bringing in his own perspective, his own insights.
And that ending, wow. Mary ascending to heaven, reunited with Jesus and John.
That's such a powerful image.
What do you think the author was going for with that?
I think it's about transcendence, like
Yeah.
rising above the physical world, reaching a kind of spiritual wholeness.
Yeah, like death isn't the end, it's just
A transition.
a transition to another way of being.
Exactly. And there's that constant emphasis on love, right? Like it's what connects us all, even across different realms.
And Mary's final words
Yeah.
about speaking to each other's God selves.
Yes. Such a powerful message. Like we all have that divine spark inside us.
And if we can recognize that in ourselves and others,
That's how we create a better world.
this deep dive has been amazing. History, mysticism, faith.
It's been quite a journey.
I feel like I have a whole new understanding of Jesus' story and all the characters around him.
The author does a brilliant job weaving it all together. The history, the mystical insights, those reflections on what it means to be human.
It really makes you think. And I have a feeling we'll be thinking about this book for a long time.
I think so too. It's the kind of book that stays with you, keeps those wheels turning.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into Blessed Among Women. Thanks for joining us, and keep those thought-provoking sources coming. We'll be here, ready to dive in with you again soon.